Greetings, Dynasty Kings and Queens. Welcome back. My name is Alex. If you're new, like to chill out, relax, and talk Dynasty Fantasy Football, you're in the right place. My goal is to help you build a champion level team using actionable process strategies and current player analysis. Subscribe. There's plenty more to come this offseason. And in today's episode, we're reacting to the tight end combine. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I've actually wanted to point out the winners and kind of review some of the earlier mocks we did and see if there would be any change and where we might be wanting to draft these guys based on this. And really, guys, you want to not overreact to a combine. We got to just trust the tape that we've been seeing going into stuff like this. You know, speed doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be the number one pick or anything like that, but still the draft stock for the real NFL does have some weight on this NFL combine. So want to at least show who might get a little bump in some of our drafts, may be able to have a little more value that you can use in trades later. So first we've got Theo Johnson, and I had been taking him, I think, in the 4th round in a lot of these drafts. And he, you can see here, he ran a 4.58, 6'6". He's 260 pounds. He was moving, and early on he was getting some notoriety for wearing his wristband during the start of that 40 drill. This guy always stays prepared, but I think a good way to be able to tell these guys apart is to look at Kent Lee Platt's RAS grades. So this is relative athletic score, and it's showing us how he measures just on an even playing field of doing the drills that a lot of the other tight ends and players of the past have also done, and compares them historically amongst all of those other players. So you see here, Theo Johnson scored a 10, and this is actually ranked number 1 out of 1,105 tight ends from 1987 until now. So that's pretty good. I mean, that's incredible. He ran a 4.58 40-yard dash, so that's pretty good for someone of that size, 6'6", almost 260. Kent Lee, he put that, he doesn't have the full agility metrics up quite yet, so we're still a little bit early. However, he still says here that he expects him to be probably top 3 all-time scorer. He had a really, really good combine. Good for him. He had really solid hands, looked very competent out there. So let's go look at some of the other potential winners. And here's one, Dallin Holker. This guy, I've seen his name, and he had a definitely good season, but he had a 2-handed catch in the drill where you're only supposed to catch one ball at a time. Yeah, got it right there. Yeah, so can't show that too long, but yeah, we'll go ahead and call him a little winner there. I saw him drop some other easier catches. I'm not necessarily going to move him up. So if we look at this tiers list I did previously, Theo Johnson in the backup range. I haven't broken down all of these other guys yet, as far as showing you how they did for the night, but I would probably move Theo Johnson up. I think he could go to starter range, but some of the other players that are on that top 3 list, they haven't ultimately panned out. I think Jelani Woods was one of them, and I think it was actually one of the tight ends from this past season also. All right, here it is. So it was Zach Kuntz last year from Old Dominion. He had a 10 out of 10. So, and there's actually a few others, but as you can see, there's definitely some really good names up at the top of this list, like Vernon Davis. Mike Gesicki is actually very athletic. Noah Fant is on this list. So there's definitely some names. It just depends on how these guys end up getting used. So this isn't the end-all be-all. Still good to see that Theo Johnson had a really good combine. let's go back and look at some of the other tight ends. Jared Wiley, I mean, he really had his game face on. He looked good out there, was running smooth, catching most of the balls. 9.76, that's still really good. So I don't think athleticism is going to be an issue for Jared Wiley. Cade Stover, even though has kind of been known for not being fast and being more of a blocking tight end, he really did look smooth when he was catching the ball, was catching everything. I thought he looked very confident. Not surprised coming out of Ohio State. Looked really professional the way he was carrying himself out there. 8.8, still not that bad actually. The 40 time, that's about good for a tight end. That Theo Johnson was under 4.6 at 4.58, but this from Cade Stover at 4.65 is, it's pretty good. Ben Sinnott, he was someone that was in a lot of people's top 3 to 5 tight ends in this class, and he got a 9.49. That's still really good. I mean, that's 57th out of all the tight ends from 1987, so really good there. 4.68 40, good vertical jump 9.92, broad jump 9.7. Jatavian Sanders, he actually ended up having a bit of a slower time than expected. He was still catching most of the balls, maybe one drop. I think he still from the tape was always smooth and catching almost everything that came his way. You'll see here he didn't do all of the other tests, but 4.69. I know one of his first dashes were a little bit slower than that, but still, I think no need to panic on Sanders. We'll take a look at if we would move anything around here in a second. Tip Reiman, he had a 9.93, so really good there. And I think most of these tight ends, they look pretty good and we're catching mostly everything. Tanner McLachlan, he ended up running to 4.61, so that was actually pretty quick. 66 out of 1,100. So that's, pretty athletic. Trey Knox, he didn't measure, but looked okay out there. 6'3", you do want to be really athletic. I guess I should mention that Brock Bowers didn't participate, but that may be obvious to you by now. He definitely had an opportunity to be a high scorer, but it's hard to say he'd be a big winner since he's already projected to go really high this year in the draft. And then this is the Theo Johnson one that we already looked at. Take another quick look here. Dallin Holker, who I showed the video of the two-hand catch earlier, or two-ball catch earlier. 5.75 out of 10. He didn't test very well athletically, kind of on the slower side, but definitely showed that he's got some heart out there. But I know a lot of people that are doing mock drafts, they like Dallin Holker. We'll just have to see how the teams end up liking him. At 6'3", again, you do want to have some good traits. Showed some explosion off the line with that broad jump. Still, those numbers are kind of low. We've got Devin Colt, 6'3", but he ran 4.47, so it might have been the fastest time of the tight ends out there. So we'll see what that means for him. He was on that national champion contender Washington team. Jaheim Bell, he looked really good out there. I thought he was really smooth, was catching all the balls coming his way. 8.5 RAS score, 4.61 40-yard dash, so still pretty close to getting under that 4.6 mark. He showed he had some speed, and I think I definitely am fine keeping him in the tier that I've got him in, but he definitely can move. At 6'2", that's the shortest tight end height that we've got, and the weight is fine, especially BMI wise, but for tight ends, it's we're gonna have to see if the trend just really continues to have the undersized tight ends be successful when really he's a big wide receiver closer to a big slot. Just depends on how he gets used. Definitely tested well athletically, and I'm feeling pretty good that he'll get drafted. All right, and that is it for that list. So let's do a quick look. Yeah, so in one of the last mock drafts I did, I had Theo Johnson here in the 4th round. I mean, would he move up because of this? Would any of these guys move because of this? Again, like I said, you don't really want to make too many drastic of changes. If it's not a tight end premium league, this one here is, but if it's not, then I wouldn't focus too much on the tight ends regardless. I would just take some shots on running back upside or some of these other wide receivers you like, maybe even these quarterbacks. Still, I think some of these guys will end up having a role in the NFL. Worth seeing where these guys get drafted. That's going to be the ultimate deciding factor. I don't think I would really move any of these guys up in this positioning. Maybe how you rank them amongst each other versus trying to move them around the other players, and still want to see how the rest of the combine goes. We got the wide receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks tomorrow. Let's at least look at the tier list. So Sanders, I could honestly see Bell, Stover, Sinnott, and Theo Johnson, all being in the same, like one of those things where in a year from now, I could see all of these guys on kind of the same playing field. They all of them showed that they had good catchability, and Sanders did not look any more athletic than any of the guys below him. So I'd probably just keep Brock Bowers in his own elite tier. Maybe Sanders drops down just to the tier below here, and maybe don't focus on it being named back up, but have this just be the the C tier of the Brock Bowers tier is A. I'm not going to give up on Sanders. I just think this class has a lot of really good players going in that second round, so I don't want to overinvest in Sanders when a lot of these other tight ends have been performing very well and have better athleticism. I know in the big moments, Sanders has proven to be really good, so that's the one thing that he has over the rest of these players. I don't want to overreact again, so just wanted to give a quick set of thoughts on these players. Eric All, he was injured this past season, so he didn't perform, but that's someone that you don't want to forget about. Jared Wiley, Brevin Spanford, they were in this combine as well. Looked really good. Really, we don't know. These two guys, 6'7", both of them. They might get a shot somewhere and be able to contribute. I would say it's going to really just depend on the draft capital at this point. And based on the landing spot, we could see them actually get an opportunity with a relevant role, some of these guys. So let's keep watching the combine. Check back in with me tomorrow, and I'll come out with another video. Like and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks.